Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Hope everybody's been doing great. I will say this month wasn't the best movie so far with Jurassic World, which I know we did not get to review, but it's probably better we didn't, because it would not have been good from either of us, so,
Needless to say, I was probably just better off not saying anything about that movie.
Yeah, to each their own. Like, if you liked it, great, but essentially it was going to be very low scores from me and Burn, so we could revisit that later. But for now, I am happy to report that DC is back with James Gunn at the helm with the first movie to kick off the new DCU universe, and that is Superman, starring David Cornsweet, Nicholas Hoult, Rachel Brosnahan, and a lot of other great actors in that. So if you did happen to see it, or you just like hearing us all the time and whatnot, which we do appreciate, don't forget to give us a like on the video, ring the bell for notifications, and of course subscribe. We do appreciate you all for that, and I do apologize if I'll hear ticking. It's my fan. It's a little janky, but hey, it's summer. I need to stay cool because I run hot. So anyways, this is a little bit different Superman. I don't want to spoil it too much, but essentially the gist of this story is Superman is kind of coming to terms with why he was really sent to Earth and trying to overcome, being Clark Kent along with being Superman, and having to deal with Lex Luthor, who is just super obsessed with him in a very unhealthy way. And I think the beauty with James Gunn's movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, The Suicide Squad from 2021, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, he really does a great job of almost deep diving into the mind of these characters, and he does a great job of bringing very deep cut characters in this. I mean, for example, one of them is the engineer, who is one of the supervillains in this movie. I'd never even heard of her until this movie. Nathan Fillion, of course, as Guy Gardner, which has been a very big talking point for a lot of nerds on the internet. And I remember when we first saw what he looked like in the trailers late last year, it was like, why the bowl cut? Why did we have to do that to him? But that's part of the character. If you guys know who Guy Gardner is, then there's that. But oh man, it definitely. I can't say I'm really disappointed with this movie at all. I think it kind of hit all the things I was looking for in this Superman movie, and I'm definitely more of a. I know I have a Superman shirt on, but I'm definitely always been more of a Batman character, like a Batman fan. But dude, this is definitely the Superman to watch. No offense to the Snyderverse and Man of Steel, because Henry Cavill was great, but I'm glad that David Cornsweet was able to slip on those boots and step into the role. Byrne, what did you think about this movie?
So this was my most anticipated movie of the year. I've been looking forward to it since the announcement that James Gunn was going to be heralding a new universe that DC was going to operate in after the DCEU and all the Snyder stuff kind of fell to the wayside. It wasn't as successful as people wanted it to be. Didn't really connect with audiences. So the DC universe really needed to retool and reboot and kind of have a fresh start to see if it could have another chance at life in the movie theaters. And me personally, and I think you as well, being DC people, more so than Marvel people, that was always one of those frustrations, right? Like that we just couldn't get the things that Marvel was offering and has been offering for the last few years. So with the announcement of this one, I was like, I couldn't help but be really, really excited, especially coming off of all of all of James Gunn's other work. Like the Guardians movies, the couple of DC projects he's done. This guy seemed to not miss when it comes to the comic book stuff. But with the Superman thing, the launch of a whole new universe, there was some pressure in there, and there was a little bit of nervousness on my end of how much could it deliver? Could it really put us off on the right foot? And for me, this movie knocked it out of the park in terms of all of that. I just love how comic booky this feels. Even when a lot of the good comic book movies that we do get, there's always a part of them that do feel a little bit embarrassed, or a little bit ashamed that they do come from comic books, or they're a little bit apprehensive in leaning into the sillier, the more weirder, like off-kilter aspects of the comic books. And This movie just dives right into it, and I really appreciated that. We're really getting into the sides of Superman and his mythos that we haven't really seen in any other live action adaptation. A little bit in the animated stuff, but definitely not to this extent. So I really appreciated that. But most importantly of all, I really appreciated how this movie just gets Superman as a character. David Cornsweet just feels effortless in his acting in this. Like, you just feel that this is a larger than life being, but just very human and approachable at the same time. The way that he plays him and the way that he's written, you get both those facets that, yeah, you believe that this is the most powerful being in the world, but you also believe that this is the person that's gonna save you when you need it. He's gonna help you out. He's gonna have a conversation with you, and he's gonna treat you like a person, and he cares when he does that. So I just love what they did with the Superman character here. As much as I loved Henry Cavill and his portrayal of Superman, that always felt like an Elseworlds version to me. It didn't feel like the mainline canon Superman, and this one just absolutely nailed it on every aspect. I can't say anything more glowing about David Cornsweet and Superman. I'll get into the other ones, but I want to give you a chance to chime in here.
It's all good, Bern. I appreciate it. I didn't want to get into your thing, but yeah, I kind of do agree with that sentiment that I feel like a lot of Marvel, it's like the MCU. Not to poke fun at it, I know it's had a rough few years since COVID and post Endgame essentially, and it's only those few movies that have really done well. Like, it really also depends on the directors who, even if they don't lean into the goofiness and even like the kind of like the nerdiness of comics and stuff like that, like the Russo brothers, Ryan Coogler, Favreau, and I forgot who directed Shang-Chi. But those movies are definitely some of the best in the MCU because even though they weren't like super hilarious or super cheeky or anything, they did take a lot of lore. But James Gunn finds the best of both. He leans into the aspect like, this is a superhero movie. Like, let's not take it too serious, but at the same time, he brings the best out of his actors, and he writes it so well that almost anyone should be able to accept it. Like, I don't think you have to be a Superman fan to enjoy this film. It is just that generally, like, it's a great way to reach everybody because it's got great actors, great writing, simple stuff you can absorb, and it's very contextual to like what's going on in society today and everything like that. So I think that's why, like, Bern and I have brought this up in our personal conversation, especially recently, is like, why is James Gunn not in the conversation of the best superhero director ever? Like, he's up there, especially, like I said, with the Russo brothers and all those other directors I mentioned. I would say not only David Cornsweet, everybody brought their A game. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I think she is the best one, really. And David Cornsweet, yeah, I would say this is definitely more of like the mainline DC that everyone knows and loves, whether it be from cartoons growing up or maybe some of the comics you've read. This does take a lot of inspiration from like All-Star Superman. I don't know if that's necessarily considered Elseworld, but it's but this is definitely a great start to the universe where it's like, okay, this is the Marvel for Warner Brothers essentially. And I think James Gunn was the best person to start that off with. At first, I remember during COVID, he was announcing, Superman's coming first. It's like, again, like, dude, we just had the Snyder cut, and I was just like, I don't really want to start with that all over again, but I was completely wrong. I should have never doubted him, and I don't doubt him, but it was just one of those things like, let's see how this goes. And he killed it. Everybody killed it. Even the actors who played the Justice Gang for now, like Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl. Oh my God, who's the guy who played Mr. Terrific? I can't think of his name at the moment.
Edie. Man, I have it here, but it went away. But yeah, he was in. Well, I forgot what his character's Darwin in the first X-Men First Class.
First Class. Yeah, that's the one role that always sticks with me when I see him. But they had some great moments, and it's not even about them. So again, that's just how James is really, he learns how to balance these characters really well. Like, it's a Superman movie, but he didn't bench him at all. Like, it's not like a Mad Max situation where he's in his own movie as a side character. It's like everybody takes stage at one point or another. And Nicholas Hoult, man, I think this is definitely going to be a very debatable. Is he up there as the best Lex Luthor? along with Gene Hackman in the first Superman, and Jesse Eisenberg. I didn't mind it, but this is definitely more Lex Luthor than we've gotten. So yeah, I'm gonna give this movie a hard 5 out of 5. This is definitely one of the movies I've been looking forward to for a while, and honestly, if you just want a feel good movie right now, this is one of those to watch, along with like F1 and Sinners is kind of not really in theaters anymore, but it is streaming, so that's another great movie that has just a great ending. And these are some of the best movies I've seen this year, so this is definitely gonna be in my top 10. I feel like at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I love that this movie sort of respects the audience. It knows that we're familiar with the comic book genre in movies, and we're familiar with Superman as a character because he is arguably like the biggest American fictional character, I would say. Since he's pretty much known worldwide everywhere. He's like the Superman symbol is one of the biggest symbols and more recognizable symbols in the world. So everybody kind of gets it, right? Everybody knows Superman, who Superman is, who Lois Lane is, who Lex Luthor is, and how their relationships are. We kind of get it at this point. So I like that this movie throws us in there, and we see Rachel Brosnahan and Nicholas Hoult just kind of step into those shoes and just go. There isn't a lot of like setting up or like telling you, oh, this is who this person is. Like, we already know who they are, and we just it lets the movie be able to just sort of like get off on a fast foot. And this movie does move pretty fast. But yeah, like you mentioned, man, like the entire cast really just feels like they were ripped right out of the comics. I mean, their performances are great. Rachel Brosnahan was born to play Lois Lane. She was just perfect. Ever since, I saw her in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I always thought she would make a great Lois Lane. And when she was in the short list for the casting, I thought, you gotta do it. Like, there's just no one else that can do it. And yeah, Nicholas Hoult, I've loved him in everything. He's just a fantastic actor. And yeah, he brought his A game, like you mentioned. I did appreciate, or I did like understand what they were trying to do with the Jesse Eisenberg, but that wasn't Lex. This is very much Lex. That man that has everything, but just still can't get over his pettiness and his envy of Superman, and that just drives him. And you almost feel sorry for him in this movie, just because it's like, man, that life. You must be just miserable just having that much hate in your heart. So he just pulls that off really well. And the extended cast of the Justice Gang just also good. Nathan Fillion, Isabella Merced, and Edie Gathegi. I found his name. All really great. Give me more Mr. Terrific. So good. But yeah, like this movie is just a pure joy all around. Just the way that the music hits, the way that he moves the camera. Anyone who's seen a James Gunn movie knows that he likes to use the camera in creative ways. And when you have characters in the DC universe, namely Superman, there's so much fun to be had with how you can play around with it. And there's some really breathtaking shots in this movie. And I mean, we saw it in IMAX, and it was eye candy from beginning to end. So I can't speak to enough of how like great the movie going experience is. You're gonna want to check this one out in the theaters because yeah, it deserves to be seen on the biggest screen possible. I mean, anything that's negative of it, it's just very like minor nitpicks here and there that kind of like drag it down. But as a whole, it's such a great start to the new universe, and like we mentioned, all the characters feel right and you just leave this movie with that sense of optimism, despite the topics that it does decide to cover. It makes you feel like if Superman existed, the world would be a better place, and it inspires you to want to do good just for the sake of being good. That just the overall message of the movie, that being kind is punk rock. It's just such a cool thing to say in this day and age where things just feel so negative all the time. So a more perfect movie couldn't have come out at the right time just to sort of comment on everything that's going on in the world. So yeah, this is one that you just like go in and you just enjoy yourself, and you leave just feeling just that sense of optimism, because that's what the character of Superman is supposed to leave you feeling. So yeah, this one for me, it's going to be a 4 out of 5, the highest 4 out of 5 it could possibly be. Again, this just little minor nitpicks here and there that just keep it from there. Maybe that will change upon a second view, and I can't wait to see it again, by the way. Like, this one I just wanted to watch immediately as we left the theater, and as my most anticipated movie of the year, I was not disappointed.
No, and I'm already got my tickets to see it again later with the fam. And again, I know we've gotten Peacemaker, The Suicide Squad, and Creature Commandos that came out earlier this year, which all have been great, but I have not been more excited to see DC than this one, because there are some great scenes that really hint at future movies like the Knowingly, Supergirl World of Tomorrow. And man, I just can't wait to see what he's going to do with the rest of the world. Oh, and then Lanterns too, coming to HBO Max. So I'm really excited to see them, and I can't wait to see who he casts as Batman and Wonder Woman. So we finally have the big trinity of DC coming here. So yeah, I think this is definitely gonna be one of the best movies of the year. You're definitely gonna want to watch it over and over again. So for those of you that happen to see it this last weekend, please let us know what you thought. Love to get your opinions and your thoughts and feelings on it. Yeah, we're already getting almost done with summer, but there's still plenty more movies and shows to review. So until next time, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.